Marty, I know you go to bed early, homie.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do. I know you're in bed night at 9:30 p.m., but please tell me you stayed up to watch Damian Lillard cook the Pelicans.
Oh, I did. I mean, I live with Ben Mintz, so best believe I was watching the Pelicans game last night. And that's usually just Sundays.
Just Sundays.
Where I go to sleep early. But, yeah, definitely watched it. What a game.
Oh, my God. That was maybe one of the best Damian Lillard performances I've ever seen in my life. Why? Because it was like we were up. My team, the Portland Trailblazers, were up. And we're up pretty much the entire game. And then all of a sudden, the Pelicans just kept hitting threes after threes after threes. And it didn't really matter what happened. Damian himself would not allow them to come back. And even when the Pelicans did come back, it was like he had an answer every single time when he really should not have been the answer.
Yep.
They were all scheming for him. That last second layup, as everyone is swarmed around him, and he still got the and one. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and they were trying everything, too. They were trying to throw everyone at him and then sometimes trying to, lay off of him, let other people create, and it didn't matter. He just cooked it. And shout out to Gary Trent Jr. He played awesome, too.
I love Gary Trent Jr. And Dame has been, to me, this entire season, he's been balling. And the problem, though, with, we've talked about small market teams in the past, when you're balling and you're playing for a team that is not a huge market, it doesn't get a lot of national attention unless you're doing something incredible like Russell Westbrook did in 2017. So no one has been talking about it until right now. Stephen A. Smith, I think 3 days ago, had to apologize. He went on the air, and for all of national media, himself, Mark Spears, he named 10 guys. He had to say, listen, we're not talking about Damian Lillard nearly enough. We watch him, we're impressed by him, but for some reason, we don't give him his love, and that ends right now. This is what Stephen A. had to say.
What did this say about Damian Lillard?
What it says is that we owe him an apology. And the number one person on that list would be me. I am a huge fan of Damian Lillard, Dame Time. I believe in it. I always have. The NBA reporters, we all know how great Damian Lillard is. We just don't talk about it enough. And we don't talk about it so much that we have taken this man for granted. And as a result, we find ourselves in a situation where it's LeBron, it's Joel Embiid, it's even Steph Curry that's in the conversation now, et cetera, et cetera. But we lose our way, and I'm going to put myself at the top of the list, blaming myself. I'm putting myself at the top of the list because I have this platform. I have First Take 2 hours every day, and I got Stephen A's World, and I got NBA with Stephen A, and all of this other stuff. And I haven't talked about Damian Lillard enough. Number one in the NBA since 2012 with clutch points.
That is incredible.
Clutch points. Last 5 seconds of the game. Don't get me started with the last 5 minutes. Don't get me started with Dame Time. Don't get me started with him averaging 29 and how he's been doing that for the last 3, 4, 5 years. That right? And he's got Portland 5th in the West, and there's no CJ McCollum
who's
missed game. No Nurse, no Jurkic. It doesn't.
He doesn't know his name.
I don't even know who the hell it is. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter. This brother, Damian Lillard, tell me, and it's a rhetorical question, but I challenge anybody out there to tell me who strikes more fear in you when crunch time arrives than the ball being in his hands.
I know he said it was a rhetorical question, but I'm going to ask it again, and it's not rhetorical in this particular state. Who strikes more fear in you in the last few seconds of the game other than Damian Lillard? I mean, the answer is no one.
No.
Maybe LeBron? Maybe. Because he's so big and he can go to the rack and you know someone's probably going to foul him. But when you're down 3 with 3 seconds left on the clock, it's only Dame Time.
Yeah, easy. I don't want anyone else taking it. Yeah.
No. And I know for a lot of people they say, Trysta, you're a homer. And I am a homer. But this isn't me as a homer talking at all. I do love Damian Lillard, but this is one of those situations where because it is my hometown, I'm like the father of a baseball team, and like my team is basically like my son, and I won't glorify the Blazers ever. I always underrate my team and the players on my team because I don't want to seem biased, and I believe in my heart maybe that's what my love and my appreciation is coming from. So, I mean, I love Damian Lillard as a human being. I think he's the best player ever to be on our franchise, and that's saying a lot with Brandon Roy and with Clyde the Glide. But Dame's going to go down as the greatest Blazer in history.
For sure.
And still, with all of that, he's underrated. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is the truth bomb of it all. Damian Lillard balling this year more than ever, not getting any national attention until now. And now it's spilled over to the podium to the point where Damian Lillard is saying, hey, guys, hey, hand up, guys. I am an MVP candidate. I am playing just as good as you would expect from someone who wins that award. And here's all of the reasons why.
The best players win MVP. And I think what you see is those players have a heavy load. They take a lot of responsibility on wins and losses for their team. And, they're the players that are showing up night after night. The games that are on TV, the games not on TV, dealing with injuries, all those things, and just putting together performances and playing at that level, but also empowering the team, and giving the team that spark and, pushing the team to win. And I think this year, everything that we've been dealing with injury and also playing through my own injuries. So I think that's what you see in MVPs. And, obviously, I think, I see myself as the top of the league. I'm one of the best players in this league. And I feel like I'm on that level. And the way our team is playing, given our circumstances, makes it even more obvious to me.
That's about as blatant as you're going to get from Damian Lillard, I would say. He's one of the most humble guys in the league. And yet he's like, hey, everyone on my team is hurt. 3/5 of our starting five are gone. 3/5. CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, and Zach Collins. Zach Collins hasn't been around all season. Hasn't even played one game. Nurkic went out really fast, and CJ's missed a ton of games. And still, you would think at that point, oh my God, Portland should have fallen off a cliff. Portland should be like 11th in the West with just Damian Lillard. And I'm not even going to say what the rest of the players are. I love this team. I think it's a very complete team, but you can't miss 60% of your roster and still be number 4 in the West unless you have an MVP on your team.
That's true.
That's big facts. So I went and looked at how much they were all averaging, those 3 guys, to the tune of 55 points missing on a night-to-night basis without them, just from the starting lineup. And you know what? Portland hasn't missed a step. We are fourth in the West, 5th in the league in scoring at 115 points a game. Offensive rating is up there with only the Jazz, Bucks, Nets, and Clippers. Incredible. Largely because of how good Damian Lillard is at shooting the 3. This team is 3rd in the league in three-pointers taken, 3rd in the league in three-pointers made, 5th highest three-point percentage in the league, 5th highest free throw percentage in the league. Folks, that is all Damian Lillard. That is him. He is giving the rock to Carmelo when he's hot. He's facilitating and being a leader in big moments. That is what you want from your MVP. Averaging 30 a game, but as Stephen A. so poignantly pointed out, he is lethal at the end of games. More clutch points than any other player in the NBA since 2012. Did you know that, Marty?
I did not. That's a pretty cool stat to have.
That is ice water. 4 seconds are left on the shot clock and averages 53% from the field and 48% from deep. Can we just step back and appreciate that for a second?
Sure, yeah.
You are not giving my man enough respect.
I am. I actually have him 12-1 to win MVP.
How much money did you put on it?
Not killer.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
You didn't have enough faith, but it made a big difference if he wins it.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So here's the problem with MVPs and Damian Lillard playing at an MVP level. I don't know if you know this, Marty, but I went and did a little digging, did a little nerd shit.
Okay.
Since 2004, 11 MVPs have had the best record in basketball.
Okay.
13 MVPs have come from the best team in their conference. 3 from the second best team in their conference. And only one player since 2004 did not fit that mold. Who was that player?
It sounds a lot like Russell Westbrook 2017.
That's it. And do you know why?
Do I know why he won it? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, he averaged triple-double, took over the
Pretty
storylines
much.
of the year. Yeah.
The storylines.
Yeah.
The reason why is exactly that. When you have 42 triple-doubles in a year, that gets a lot of attention from the national media, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It became one of those situations where it dominated the storyline at night after night after night for months, where it was like, oh my God, is this guy Superman? And let's be real, Russell Westbrook was stealing rebounds from Steven Adams. Like stealing them. Steven Adams has gone on the record and said, I mean, sometimes it would be both he and I grabbing the ball and he would just take it out of my hands to get the rebound.
Yep.
So, okay, people start talking about it. They can't help it. Stephen A's doing it. And then that trickles over to Colin Cowherd and then on to Undisputed. And you know how it goes, right? And then the sheeple effect starts to click in. And then the public starts to be like, yeah, Russ. And then that's how you get Russell Westbrook winning MVP. But the truth is, given how the MVP voting usually goes, James Harden should have won that.
Yeah, I was Team Harden that year.
He was the lone all-star on one of the most efficient offenses in the three-point era. He led the league in win shares, assists, and points generated by his assists. He carried Houston to the NBA's third-best record, second-ranked offense, and top-ranked three-point attack. But yet, Russell Westbrook, dominating the storylines, finished 47-35, sixth in the West, 10th best team overall as an anomaly. Why? Because of just media.
Mm-hmm.
So if
and he broke a stat that people said forever, like, oh, no one's ever going to do
facts.
that again.
That's facts.
Yeah.
I don't think Dame is going to be able to break anybody's like long-standing stat for sure.
Yeah, well, there's not many out there.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say? Records are meant to be broken?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. So no matter how much the Blazers and Dame ball out, Dame has to essentially will this team to number 2 in the West in order for him to get consideration.
Ugh.
That is brutal. Yeah. It's going to be very, very hard for him to snatch the MVP trophy out of LeBron's hands because LeBron is now back into the mix of being in vogue. Of course, I mushed that by saying he would never win it prior to the season starting. Of course. It doesn't really matter how many 40-point games Dame has or if he comes around a screen with 2 seconds left in the game to win it against the Bulls or whoever, unless we keep Dame's name in front and center of the media every single Blazer game. And that is Trysta Krick's job from now on out. I am going to be insufferable about this because if anyone deserves an MVP like Russell Westbrook got it, it's Dame. And to be honest, I don't know if you're going to believe me or agree with me about this, Marty, but this roster, this Portland Trailblazer 2021 roster without Nurk, without Zach Collins, without CJ McCollum is significantly worse than the OKC roster that Russell Westbrook was playing on. Let me just give you some of the names. Some guys that you might be familiar with. Jeremy Grant was on that team.
Right.
Victor Oladipo was on that team.
That was the
DeMontis
year.
Sabonis was on that team. Enes Kanter on that team. Steven Adams was on that team. So Dame is doing more because he's 4th in the West, not 6th in the West. Doing more with a lot less. What Dame does for his team in this small-ass market that would never, ever attract him unless we drafted him is something that I think every fan, casual or not, should take notice of, appreciate, and really say, Portland, you really just don't deserve this. Be happy with what you get. You're probably never getting a championship, but that's okay because you have Damian Lillard. Who does that remind you of, Marty?
Doesn't remind me of really anyone right off the top, so why don't you tell me yours?
I think it's Kevin Garnett.
KG, all right.
Loyal, drafted by a small market team that was never going to win a chip, put up MVP numbers on the regular, didn't get the respect, but then when the Wolves didn't put winning pieces around him, he was like, yeah, I gotta go.
He gave him a lot of time, though.
He gave him a lot of time. A lot of time. And he was sick. Oh, my God, was he sick. But the difference, and this is why Damian Lillard is probably my favorite player in the NBA, is because Damian Lillard is no KG. He is going to stay in Portland for his entire career unless Portland pulls a snake move and trades him. He was just on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, which is in the Barstool Network as well. Here's what he said. It was just phenomenal.
I think that's why you see a lot of players jumping teams and teaming up with other players, because the pressure of the media and like the standard that they putting out there, like, oh, this person don't got a ring, and like how they talk crazy to Charles Barkley on TV, like he ain't Charles Barkley because he didn't win a ring. So like,
Knew you would like that.
It's forcing dudes to be like, well, I'm gonna go play with this person, or if I get with this person. But to me, like, if that's what they want to do, then I don't got no problem with it. Like, it's whatever. But for me personally, that's just not something I can do. Like, I'd rather go out there and put my best foot forward and lose before I do that, because I know I can win if I do that.
Oh my God.
Like, we supposed to win.
Him.
If we all get on the same team and we the best players, like, we supposed to win.
So you would never do it?
I would never do that. I mean, now, I don't control, like, if the team decide to trade me somewhere and you know what I'm saying? I can't control that, but it ain't for me to just be like, all right, I want to go find,
So you can't.
Wow. Dame's never going to chase a ring.
I love that.
He's never going to run from the grind like Paul George. Ricochet shot to Paul George. He's never going to form a super team. He's going to stay in Portland and grind it out. He's going to do as much as anybody can in the league to try to win a title, but he knows that there's a great chance he's probably never going to, and he knows it's going to affect his legacy, and he knows people are going to shit talk him when he leaves the league because he never won a ring, most likely. And you know what? He doesn't care. This dude is solid. Is there anyone more solid? I don't know. Unwavering, unbreakable, not going to succumb to the storylines and the new wave of the NBA and what everybody's doing. Doesn't matter if he's playing with fans, no fans, on national TV, on a Tuesday, on a Saturday night, in the bubble, out of the bubble. This dude is unflappable, unreal, and all the time. On time, Dame time. And so if there was, this is my point to all of this, to this Damian Lillard soliloquy, if there was ever a year where you would step outside of the traditional bubble, no pun intended, and the traditional way of giving out an MVP, and actually give the award to the player who's truly the most valuable to their franchise, lifts them and elevates them, not just the best player on the best team, it's got to be 2021, and that's got to be Damian Lillard. I know I'm biased, but I think Dame should be this year's MVP. This league